Hello everybody. Today we are playing Pokemon Infinite Fusion Minilocke. That's right, Minilocke, not Nuzlocke, Minilocke. There's going to be some slight rule changes to make it a little bit easier for me because I am not good enough to do a Nuzlocke. And the reason why I chose this game is because in this game, as you can see, you can fuse two different Pokemon together. Some look really cool, some not so much. Now, normal Nuzlocke rules is you catch a Pokemon per area, and if that Pokemon faints in battle for any reason, you are no longer allowed to use the Pokemon. But since this is a Minilocke, it's going to be slightly different. The difference is, instead of being able to pick one Pokemon per route, I instead have already picked out my 6 Pokemon, well I guess technically 12, and I'm going to fuse those 12 into my 6. So I already have my party. Now that party will be revealed slowly. I will not start with 6. I am starting with 3 Pokemon. And every time I get a badge, I am then allowed to use one of my other Pokemon. So once I get 3 badges, I will have my full party of 6. Now, for the other rule of a Pokemon fainting and not being allowed to use it, what we are going to be doing instead, since I only have 6 Pokemon, is once a Pokemon faints, I cannot use that until I beat the next badge. So, if all 3 of my Pokemon faint before the first badge, the Minilocke is over. That's it. Or, if I have my 6 Pokemon, but they for whatever reason faint in between badges, then again the Minilocke is over. Now when it comes to the Elite Four, however, those do not count as badges. If all 6 of my Pokemon faint within the Elite Four, the Minilocke is over. If one faints on my way to the Elite Four, I am not allowed to use that Pokemon. That's gonna be the tricky part. Once I get my 8th badge, that's it. My Pokemon are locked in. They can no longer faint. And if they do, the run is over. Alright, now that we got the rules out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first things first, we need a starter Pokemon. And this starter Pokemon has to be one of the 12. So I'm going to do this over and over until I get one of my 12. Okay, we got a Squirtle. I didn't want Squirtle to be one of my first 3 just because Squirtle is actually a Pokemon that fuses with a legendary Pokemon. I don't normally use legendary Pokemon in playthroughs just because they're overpowered, but given that this game is difficult, I was allowing just one. And in turn, I am using one of my favorite, if not my favorite legendary. It might not be the most overpowered legendary, but it fuses perfectly with Squirtle, and you'll see why here in a little bit. But yeah, the luck of the draw, I got a Squirtle, so my starter Pokemon technically is also a legendary. Okay, so he fused the other 2 Pokemon, one being Mudkip and the other being Chimchao, I think, or I can't remember how to say that name. But yeah, so this is probably going to end up being something like Water, Electric, Electric Ground, or Water Ground in its final form. That's part of the difficulty in this game, is it can fuse any of the types and you don't really know exactly what it's going to be. There is a setting to know what it is, but I find that it's a lot more fun and more challenging if you don't know what they are. And just like that, we won our first battle. We barely won, but a win's a win, and we'll take it. And now we have to go to the next town before we can finally fuse our starter Pokemon. Now, keep in mind that these trainers and gym leaders all have randomized Pokemon, which means there's a potential for them to have a dragon Pokemon with the move Dragon Rage, which could completely ruin the run. Which means one of my 3 Pokemon that I start off with will be Fairy. But before I show you the Fairy Pokemon, now that we're here, let's go ahead and fuse our legendary Groudon with Squirtle. The final evolution of this has a very unique look. But without giving it away too much, we are going to hint at it by giving it the name JR. Now for the fairy Pokemon, I chose Rolps, and she will be getting fused with Ghastly to form Agatha. And for the final Pokemon will be my favorite Pokemon with my favorite starter Pokemon. Dino with Charmander. And their name will be Cerberus. So after a bit of training, we head over to the first gym and go up against Brock, which has Psychic Pokemon this time, not Rock, Psychic. But that's okay, because we have Agatha with a Ghost move, so she should be good. As long as she's faster, I should be fine. Okay, so Brock will start with a Mew Voltorb Fusion. I will try to start off with Hypnosis. Reflect type doesn't really do much, I don't think. I miss my Hypnosis. He then transforms into me. I miss another Hypnosis. They used Lick. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Hypnosis finally goes off. So I use Lick, and isn't enough to kill just yet. But if he sleeps for one more turn, of course he wakes up. Oh, and I'm barely alive. And I get paralyzed? Okay, but the Lick still goes off. Okay, that was scary. I almost lost Agatha already, which means I would have had to beat the second gym in order to use her again. But stayed alive with one. Swap out into Cerberus. Use Dragon Rage, and this should be enough to end it. And yes, it is. Just like that, the first gym's out the way. And now that I have my first badge, I can now introduce my fourth Pokemon, Trico and Chimchar, which I will be naming JC, short for Jackie Chan. And before I can even get to Diglett Cave, JC evolves into this ugly looking thing, but don't worry because he quickly evolves again into something much better looking. There we go, that's better. And JR will also evolve. Alright, now that I'm inside Diglett Cave, I find this trainer with a Skarmory Haxorus fusion, which I am terrified of this Haxorus, so I keep Agatha out. Agatha is of course too slow, but I do get the Hypnosis off. And hoping that I can get a good amount of damage. That was a crit, so didn't do too much, and the thing wakes up and finishes Agatha. So Agatha will no longer be usable, but that's okay because now I get Cerberus out here, and one Dragon Rage is enough to seal the deal. And now Cerberus levels up to 16, which means Cerberus will also be evolving. And I found Team Rocket doing some shenanigans inside Diglett Cave. Once I showed up, they got a little scared and used the Ninja Smoke and poofed on out of there. Or maybe it was just the smoke of their machine blowing up. Not sure which one it was, but either way, they escape. And the scientist here allows me to pick up one of the fossils here. Fossils doesn't really matter too much because I already have my Pokemon of 6. So I just grab whichever one and get the heck out of here. I find my rival Big Head across this bridge, and he challenges me to a battle. So I sent out JR first. I'm pretty sure this thing is water, so I don't think JR will be too effective against this, so I swap out JR for JC. And this spiky cannon does absolutely nothing to JC, not even worried about it. I use Mega Drain to try to heal a little bit. Use Ancient Power and puts me in the red. That's not good. I go ahead and use one more Mega Drain, hoping that I can last one more hit. And this one Ancient Power ends up knocking out JC. So now I'm down to 2 Pokemon. And I bring back JR. They use a Super Potion to re-heal everything. I use Ancient Power hoping that I can get some sort of stat boost. I do not. So then I use Earth Power. And that puts it in the red. And it lowers the special defense. Bubble Beam doesn't do much, so I use Earth Power once more and finish it off. I keep JR out here, and this is an easy dub. 1 Ancient Power, and that'll be enough to get the win. Next Pokemon, okay. I'm gonna keep JR. They use Bind, so I gotta finish this real quick. And I do 1 Earth Power, and that's it. Last Pokemon, what you got? Okay. I use another Earth Power. Puts it in the red. I use Lava Plume just to change it up. Not really worried about that one move. And there it is. Big Head has been defeated. I now make my way to Bill. Help him out with some sort of, little science experiment here, and he rewards me by giving me the SS ticket, which allows me to go to the SSN. But before I do that, I'm gonna go against Misty, and she has ice Pokemon, so that's good because I have 2 fire Pokemon. I start off with JR and Lava Plume. Almost get the 1-hit KO, but not quite. I used Bubble thinking that would be enough to finish it off, but since it used a Super Potion, I will then have to use 1 more Lava Plume, and that will be enough. There we go. Articuno Mudkip. Okay, so we got legendaries. Let's go. Ancient Power is super effective against ice. Was hoping to get some sort of stat boost, but didn't. Use Earth Power, not enough. And then I go ahead and finish it with 1 more Earth Power. And there we go. That is 2 badges down, which means Agatha and JC come back, and I get my 5th Pokemon in Machop and Beldum. And I will name them Goru. Get them to quickly evolve. I'm not liking this sprite. They don't have a custom sprite, but it's not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. JC's was a lot worse. And now Agatha will also evolve. And inside the SSN, Agatha actually evolves a 2nd time. I find Big Head again. He's just, I guess he just can't get enough of me. He thinks he's that good. I continue to get stronger and better. I have a full party. Well, not a full party, but I have a party of 5 now instead of 4. Start with JC. And not quite sure if this is a grass poison or if it's a dark or ghost. I use Fury Attack. It didn't do much, which means it's probably poison. I get the burn off with Flame Wheel, so that's big. Feint Attack doesn't do much, but I'm not about to sit here and let JC die again. So I send out the new addition to the party and Goru. And I use Knockoff to see if it's a ghost type. Didn't do much, which means it's dark and poison. So I use Revenge because it's faster. However, it used Hypnosis. So Guru gets put to sleep. And I use Revenge once more. Dream Eater allows it to heal, so that's not good. I need to get that speed down. So I'm going to swap. Instead of using Revenge, I'm going to go ahead and use Low Sweep instead. Feint Attack, not worried about it. Doesn't heal, so that's good. Guru wakes up. Low speed is not enough to knock it out, but it does lower the speed. And one more should put it away. Uses hypnosis, but doesn't matter because burn will also finish it off. Leftover healing Guru. And that is the first Pokemon down. I will swap out Guru with Agatha. I use Magical Leaf, doing about half, a little bit over half. Foresight doesn't do anything. Use Bide, pointless because one more Magical Leaf and that's it. I will go ahead and swap Agatha out, however, for Cerberus. And wait a minute, how do you have this thing? It's at level 20. I mean, it's pretty cool that you have a Kyogre fusion and I have a Groudon fusion, but this thing is level 20. It shouldn't be fully evolved. Whatever. I use Dragon Rage and it doesn't kill, which didn't expect it to. Scary Face, lower speed, Water Pulse, I'm good to go. One more Dragon Rage and that's it. I will swap out Cerberus for JR. Use my legendary fusion. And then I will use Earth Power. And will this be enough to end it? Yes, it will. One hit KO. Let's go. Once I beat Big Head, I go ahead and talk to the captain. Get the move cut. And head straight for the third gym. He has grass Pokemon, okay. So this shouldn't be too hard considering I have 3 fire Pokemon. Starts out with Sunlurk, okay. JC. Let's go ahead and start this off with the Flame Wheel. And now that it's low, I will use, whoa, that did a lot of damage. I'll use Fury Cutter. It didn't do as much as I expected, but luckily it flinched, otherwise JC would probably be gone. Use Super Potion to heal, and just continue to use Fury Cutter until I beat it. I'm hoping this will be enough to beat it. It's not. Needle Arm is weak, so I live, but let's go ahead and get JC out of here just in case. Cerberus comes out here. Payback. It does half the damage, so then I use Ember, doesn't quite finish it off, Faint Attack, and I'm still alive, so I use Ember again. Sliver of health. I am faster though, so I use one more Ember to finish it off. And of course, I cannot keep Cerberus out here, so I swap out and throw out JR. Use Lava Plume. And it should be enough. It's not. Wow, okay. This thing is strong. Citrus Berry heals it a little bit. Psychic, I'm good. Not worried. One more Lava Plume, and that will be it. Third badge is mine. Which means I get my 6th and final member of the party, being Pawniard and Ferroseed. And we will call her Gaia. As we make our way through the rock tunnel, Goro evolves. And there just so happened to be a trainer with this fusion, and it had Mirror Coat knocking out JR. Oh, that's not good. He was my strongest Pokemon. Well, I get JC out here to finish the job, but the damage has already been done. Inside Rock Tunnel, Agatha also evolves. And this is most definitely not the sprite that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to change it to this one. And I find Big Head inside Pokemon Tower, and he challenges me to another battle. Look, man, you can change your Pokemon all you want. The result's going to be the same. I am going to win. Alright? But fine, you want to battle again? Let's go. Let's JC, let's go. Come on, man. Start with the Flamethrower. And it's one and done. Come on now. And now he brings out the second Pokemon, and I, instead of using Flamethrower, use Leaf Blade. Will that be one and done? No, it does. It survives. It used Swift, doesn't do much. One more Leaf Blade, and that is it. This battle's getting easier and easier. He's got two more. Here's his starter Pokemon. We use another Leaf Blade, and that is a one-hit wonder. I finally switch up and use Agatha to get some experience. Use Hypnosis. Put his Pokemon to sleep, and then I use Energy Ball. It does quite a bit of damage, and I choose to swap out and put Gaia out here to get some experience because Gaia is still pretty low leveled. He heals his Pokemon, and I use Gyro Ball thinking that I'm slower and that it's Fairy. It doesn't do too much, so I swap out and use Curse instead to continue to lower my speed. It tries to lower my stats, which inevitably actually increases my attack. I opt to use Rollout. Oh, that's not good. That Thunderbolt might actually knock out Gaia. Quick attack, never mind, I'll be okay. Rollout will eventually get strong enough to get me the win. He does use a super potion, but not enough. And there it is, there's the win. Alright, Big Head, you done? Can we move on now? And there is a loud ruckus going on over here, and Team Rocket has kidnapped this old guy. Not too sure what their plan is with him, but Big Head informs me that we cannot keep going forward because there are ghosts. And in order to see what the ghosts actually are, we need an item called the Sylph Scope. So we track some Team Rocket grunts down to the sewer. And because Big Head is scared of the dark, he ends up leaving me to fight Team Rocket alone. And as I was about to go in on my own, Erica, the gym leader, the fourth gym leader, sees me and agrees to help me out. And who am I to say no to a beautiful woman? And we find Giovanni, the Team Rocket leader, inside. He then challenges me to a battle. I of course accept, and there ain't no way I'm about to lose with Erica watching. Start off with Cerberus, my favorite Pokemon. Use Crunch, and Ominous Wind did a lot of damage. Since Crunch didn't do that much, I'm going to go ahead and swap out to Gaia. Ominous Wind again. I can survive one hit, so I use Assurance in hopes that it does a significant amount of damage. Ominous Wind puts me in the red. Assurance didn't do anything. So I choose to swap out to Goro. Ominous Wind does a good bit of damage. Leftover heals a little bit of it. I use Knockoff because I know I can survive another hit. Probably can survive a second hit, or a third hit rather. I use Knockoff again and it still doesn't do much. So now I change to Bullet Punch. He uses Curse, which puts himself in the red and allows me to pick up the KO. I don't want to keep Goru out here though because he is affected by Curse and now is in the red. So I swap out and bring Agatha. Start off with Shadow Punch. Does a lot of damage. Acrobatics, not really scared of that. I am in the red, but one more Shadow Punch and I get the KO. So of course, now that I'm in the red, I have to switch out. I meant to switch out earlier, but Oh well, I misclicked. Steel Wing, not doing too much. Slash, also not. Oh my goodness! 3 HP? Flame Wheel does a lot of damage, doesn't get the KO, but does get the burn. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to Cerberus. Max Potion, okay, so he healed. I went ahead and used Flame Burst. Spike literally does nothing because I'm not going to be switching out anymore. Everyone's hurt. Get the super effective. One more Flame Burst, and that should seal the deal. And just like that, I've defeated Giovanni. Erica then hugs me, saying me and my Pokemon are so strong and brave and that she cannot wait to see me at her gym to challenge me to a battle. She also informs me that in the midst of all the battling, Giovanni left the Silph behind, so I picked that up and head straight to the gym to battle her and her poison Pokemon. Thank goodness we're finally out of the nasty sewers and here in the garden where it smells so good with all these flowers around here. I start the battle with Goru. Since Goru is slow, I use Revenge to do double damage and oh, Earth Power with the super critical hit, getting me in the red. It's not even worth staying out. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out Goru with Agatha since Agatha is immune to ground moves. And Earth Power will do nothing, so now I can use Energy Ball. Erica uses a Hyper Potion to heal, which means Earth Ball doesn't really do much, so then I use Draining Kiss. It still doesn't do very much. She uses Discharge, which does quite a bit of damage, so I follow up with a Shadow Ball, getting it in the yellow. Discharge again, getting me in the yellow, and out of fear, I use Hypnosis, putting her Pokemon to sleep. Use Draining Kiss to heal up a little bit, and then go with a Shadow Ball to hopefully get the KO. And it stays alive with a sliver, but it's still asleep, so one more Draining Kiss will seal the deal, knocking out her Pokemon. I choose to swap out Agatha for JC. And I believe Leaf Blade here will be good enough. Does maybe half, maybe a little bit less than half. Whirlpool trapping me. Not worried about it. So I use another Leaf Blade, and yes, so it did do half the damage. I keep JC in and use Flame Wheel this time. Does a lot of damage, super effective. Use Citrus Berry. Venoshock. Oh, JC stays alive with 1 HP. Let's get him out of here. Guru is immune to poison, so I'm not scared of that Venoshock. I use Lemonade. I'm using one healing potion. I was debating on if I could use a healing move or not because you normally can't in Nuzlocke, but this is a Minilocke, so I'm going to limit myself to one. Minilocke, I'm not swapping out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Zen Headbutt, probably should have used this a long time ago. And one more Zen Headbutt will win. You guys let me know in the comments if I should not use healing items in gym battles, or if I'm allowed to use just one. Let me know. Unfortunately, in the Pokemon Tower, Guru ends up fainting. The rest of the team does avenge him, and we are able to rescue the old man in the tower, and he rewards us by giving us the Pokeflute. We then use this Pokeflute to move the giant Snorlax in the way. And before we get to the next gym, JC evolves. And this evolution doesn't look so good, so we quickly evolve him again into his final form. And there we go. That looks much better. Cerberus joins on the fun and evolving as well. And although this sprite does look good, I opt to change it to this one. And JR not only evolves into his final form, but also gets a name change to Bowser. There we go, that sprite fits the name much better. Now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and go against the 5th badge, and he will be using fighting Pokemon. And because of that, I will start with Agatha. And I will use Draining Kiss. Based off that damage, I'll probably have to use it 3 times to get the KO, but it doesn't matter because he keeps using fighting moves and they don't affect me, man. Come on now, think a little bit. He uses a Hyper Potion, which is a little annoying because it's just delaying the inevitable. He finally decides to swap out, and Draining Kiss will do just the same, actually more damage. So 1 more Draining Kiss and that will seal the deal. He uses a Fighting and Dragon Pokemon, which means Draining Kiss will do double the damage and knock it out with 1 move. He brings Magma back out, Draining Kiss, 1 more Draining Kiss should seal the deal. And it does. Agatha hasn't even been touched. So to make it easier for him, I'm going to go ahead and swap over to our new teammate Bowser. No longer wants to go by the name JR. He's grown and he's an adult now. Use Earth Power, double effective, and 1-hit KO. This has got to be the easiest gym I've done so far. On our way and inside Silphco Tower, we have 3 evolutions. There's a little too much going on here with this look, so I decided to change it up and go with this look instead. Gaia also evolves. And our 3rd evolution is Goro evolving. And they really need to make a custom sprite for this. I mean, this one isn't too bad, but if you can make it look a little bit better, that'd be great. At the top of Silphco Tower, Big Head challenges to another battle out of anger this time because he found out we were flirting with Erica. Look, man, it's not my fault you were scared of the dark. Now, the recording of the battle messed up a little bit, but trust me, I beat him very easily. After I beat him, he agrees to help me take down Giovanni. This ends up being a doubles battle, and I'm not sure why Giovanni thinks he can win after I just got done beating him, but whatever, here we go. I start off by sending out Bowser. And I use Lava Plume. Yes, it will end up hurting Big Head's Pokemon, but I don't really care. High Jump Kick did a lot of damage to Bowser, but I don't want to switch out Bowser, so I'm just going to use my 1 heal. High Jump Kick missed, that's good. Used Agility, not really scared of that. Unpeed, used Minilocke again. Instead of using Lava Plume, I use Earth Power this time. He uses Agility to boost his speed. Again, not worried about that. And Earth Power gets him in the red. He then uses Meteor Mash on Big Head's Pokemon, get him in the red. And High Jump Kick will finish him off. Earth Power comes in and finishes off Metacon. Sick Fusion. Both of those are sick fusions, by the way. Goose Swine comes in for Big Head. Dragon Pulse here on the Holo-chan, Hitmonchan, and Halucha's fusion. Hydro Pump getting Bowser in halfway. And now I use Earth Power getting the Holo-chan into the red. I decide to go ahead and swap in Agatha. Sky Attack on Goosewine does quite a bit of damage, not quite halfway, but a decent amount. Then there's Air Slash. He uses Endeavor and Dragon Pulse right back onto him, finishing him off. And Agatha finally gets to move with Draining Kiss. Doesn't do much, but heals a little bit. Air Slash back on Agatha. And I use Energy Ball instead. Uproar, it misses. Body Slam does a decent amount of damage. Hopefully this finishes it off. It does not. It gets it in the red. Air Slash on the Goosewine, and Big Head's second Pokemon is down. He brings out his starter. I believe Big Head's Pokemon could take out the little thing, so I use Draining Kiss on Vibrava. Finishing off Vibrava. And healing up a little bit. Healing up all the way, actually. Hydro Pump on Agatha. That did a lot of damage. Good thing I healed with Draining Kiss, otherwise Agatha probably would have been knocked out. And as I expected, Big Head finishes the job. So there you go, Giovanni. Your plans have been spoiled by me again. Now get out of here. Big Head forgives me, and I go straight to the 6th gym to battle Sabrina and her ghost Pokemon. I start off with Agatha. And I use Hypnosis just in case. And then follow up with a Shadow Ball. I got the one hit KO. I probably could have just started off with Shadow Ball, but you know, it is what it is. Agatha is very fragile, so if I don't get the kill, I risk dying. So I use Hypnosis and miss. Shadow Ball back into Agatha, and this is what I'm talking about. So I swap out and bring out JC. Shadow Ball doesn't do too much, less than half, so I use Leaf Blade, and finishing off the second Pokemon. I keep JC out here, and I use Leaf Blade once more. Doesn't quite get the kill, but that's okay. And one more. Okay, they use Max Potion. That means I gotta use another Leaf Blade. And they use Max Potion again. Finally, I can use this last Leaf Blade and finish it off. Thinking that this is grass, I use X Scissor and it'll be super effective. It is obviously not, so maybe it's bug or something. Either way, it wasn't very effective. I use Flame Wheel, getting it into the red. Slash will put me into the red, but I'm faster, so I use one more Flame Wheel and win my 6th badge. And right before the 7th badge, Goro evolves into his final form, alongside Cerberus evolving as well. And although this fusion does look good, I'm going to swap to this one because the color scheme looks much better in my opinion. And Blaine ends up having a rock type team, so this should be easy now that Goro evolved. That is who I will be using. I will use Cross Chop, hoping to get that kill in one move. He uses Dark Pulse, barely doing anything. He does get the flinch off though, which means I have to eat another Dark Pulse before finally getting to use Cross Chop and getting that one hit KO. He then brings out his second Pokemon, which is actually his strongest Pokemon. I use Meteor Mash, just barely not getting the KO. So I will use Dual Chop. I kind of expected that heal. So now I will go back to Meteor Mash and finish the job. Not sure what's next, but I think I'll be good with Guru. I don't think I need to switch out at all. Use Meteor Mesh. And Sturdy is the only reason this thing lived. It uses Power Whip, gets me just about halfway, but Leftovers gets me back up. And I use Dual Chop to finish it off, but he swaps over to his last Pokemon. Dual Chop doing more than half HP, so I will go ahead and use Dual Chop once more. And then again on the final Ice Beam, and he's faster, but I'm not frozen, so it's all good. Given that his last Pokemon is at like 1 HP, one Dual Chop should finish the job, giving me my 7th Gym Badge. Easy. Now, before I go to the 8th badge, I went to Mount Ember because I heard some rumors about Team Rocket being up to no good over there. And lo and behold, when I got there, I saw them trying to fuse the 3 legendary birds together. And the only way to stop them is to defeat them. I have to go up against all 3 fused legendary birds, and this is the most difficult battle in the entire game. But I have a plan. Alright, I already know at least one, if not more, of my Pokemon will end up fainting. As long as I can survive with one, the run stays alive, and that's the goal. The goal is not to keep all of my Pokemon alive. The goal is to keep at least one alive so that I can continue on. I've given all of them a specific item to help with this battle. The Pokemon that I plan on sacrificing have been given items to boost their attack to do as much damage as possible. The others have been given a Citrus Berry to last as long as possible to hopefully defeat either one or multiple legendary bird heads. I start off with JC because he's strong and fast. His HP and defense is low, so he's not going to last but only one turn, so I got to get as much damage as possible with him. So my plan is to use Close Combat on Moltres, the middle head, and to do as much damage as possible. And he gets knocked out. Of course he does. Like, I wasn't surprised about that. So now comes in Bowser, and I use Surf because I can hit all 3 of them. And I'm hoping that I can do enough damage to knock out the Moltres head. Now that he's in the yellow, the Citrus Berry activates, putting him back over half his health. And he uses Light Screen. That's going to raise their defense and pretty much make sure he stays alive. But he's in the red, so that's good. Bowser ends up getting knocked out. That's 2 out of my 6. Agatha comes in to clean up Moltres' head and will most likely end up fainting from the other 2. So there's the Ice Beam and the Citrus Berry activates, and I'm just hoping that she lives long enough to do one more attack. But she does not. Thunderbolt ends up knocking out Agatha. So I bring out Guru and I use Meteor Mash on Articuno's head. And yes, I get the knockout. So that's 2 out of the 3. I just need one more. Thunderbolt goes off. Citrus Berry activates, and I think I have enough HP to do one more attack. That Paralyzed definitely doesn't help. There's the Thunderbolt. Yep, I'll go second now because I'm paralyzed. And I do get the move off. Meteor Mash does hit. Attack raises, but it doesn't matter because I am definitely swapping out. And using Cerberus. Drill Peck gets me below half, but the Citrus Berry gets me back up. So that gives me one attack to finish it off. I use Flamethrower. I'm faster. Drill Peck I'm still alive, so I can do one more flamethrower since I'm going first, and that's it. I beat Zapmo Kuno, the 3 legendary bird fusion. That's right, Giovanni, not even the 3 legendary birds can stop me from beating you. Now, I did take quite a bit of hit. I only have 3 Pokemon left to do the 8th badge. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and evolve Gaia here. That should help out a little bit. Giovanni, what the heck are you doing here? He's the 8th badge? I mean, everyone who's ever played this game should know that. But still, it's you know, this is a big spoiler. Anyways, let's go. 3 Pokemon is all I need to defeat you. I start off with Goru, of course. And I use Cross Chop. It does almost all of it. Play Rough isn't going to do anything because I'm Steel. Leftover good heal. And now I'm going to go ahead and use Dual Chop to finish it off. He uses full restore, that's fine. I just need chip damage. Oh, it's fairy. That means dragon doesn't affect it all. That's not good. Okay, well then Meteor Mash it is. Let's go. Still doesn't die, but that's fine. Iron Head, not worried about it. I use another Meteor Mash. He full restores again. So one more Meteor Mash should finish it off then. Bro, 3 times? 3 times? Really? See, this is what I'm saying. If you can heal 3 times, I should be able to at least heal once. I do the last Meteor Mash and finally beat his first Pokemon. I mean, he doesn't even really touch me. It's just the 3 full restores. Like, what is this? I, of course, keep Goro in. Leftovers, keeping him at full health. That's great. And he uses Flamethrower, which almost KOs Goro. That would have been horrible. Oh my goodness. Cross Chop does finish him off though, so that's good. Let's get Goro out of here and let's get Cerberus some time to shine. Goro knocked out 2 Pokemon. Cerberus, you gotta clean it up here. If not, Gaia's gonna have to clean it up. I use Brick Break here because this is an Arcanine fusion and Flamethrower is not going to be very effective. It's actually going to be neutral. So I just spam Brick Break until I finally get the KO. I'm not faster, but I do live the last Iron Head there. I'm in the red. So this is sketchy. But I am going to use this moment to heal. And whether you guys like it or not in the comments, I am doing this. Alright? If y'all don't want me to do it, then the next time I do this, I won't. But for this run, I am getting 1 heal per battle. So now I can go to the Flamethrower, because this is a fairy Pokemon, which means Brick Break isn't going to do very much. He swaps out to his final Pokemon. Flamethrower will hurt you just as much, if not more. Iron Defense doesn't do anything, and the second Flamethrower will get the KO. And he brings back his other Pokemon, and 1 Flamethrower should finish it off, which means my full party of 6 is back! Yes! Oh my goodness. That is 8 badges. Time for the Elite Four. But before we do the Elite Four, something I didn't think about until just now is Cerberus doesn't evolve until 64. However, there is an item that I can use to evolve any Pokemon at any level, which, hindsight 2020, I should have did this a long time ago, but whatever, better late than never. So let's go ahead and use this and evolve Cerberus into his final form. There we go. Great look, but this one's better. Alright, that's it. We're ready to do the Elite Four. But before we do that, let's do a small little showcase. as to who my Pokemon are and what moves they got and what items they are holding. First and foremost, we have Bowser holding Wise Glasses with the moves Surf, Lava Plume, Angel Power, Earthquake. Next, we have Agatha holding the Shell Bell with the moves Moon Blast, Shadow Ball, Calm Mind, and Energy Ball. We have Gaia holding a Rocky Helmet with the moves Curse, Assurance, Iron Head, and Power Whip. JC holding a Choice Band with the moves Flame Wheel, Close Combat, Leaf Blade, X-Scissor. Guru holding a Leftover with the moves Dynamic Punch, Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, and Stone Edge. And last but certainly not least, we have Cerberus holding the King's Rock with the moves Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Dark Pulse, and Earth Power. Alright, now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and head into the first Elite Four member. Alright, so we're going to start with Lorelei here, and I didn't know what she had going into it, but whenever you talk to them, that's when they reveal what they have, and she actually has electric type Pokemon. So it's a good thing I started off with Bowser because Earthquake will be good against electric. Earthquake actually being double super effective here because it is a fighting electric fusion with Primeape and Ampharos. And honestly, I picked Bowser first because he has the best HP and defense stats. He also has the most amount of resistance. So it was all around the best defensively Pokemon, and he's very strong. Bring out, not worried about that. Earthquake knocking out her second Pokemon here. Just cruising by this first Elite Four member here. One more Earthquake, knocking out her third Pokemon. Oh my goodness, am I going to sweep her? Okay, so let's do another Earthquake, and if this one hit KOs, I'm just gonna swap out just for fun because who wants to see one Pokemon sweep an Elite Four member? Like, come on, we got other fusions. My other Pokemon want to come out and have some fun too, you know? So let's swap out. Let's not use the legendary. Let's use Cerberus here, a pseudo legendary. Let's start with the Dark Pulse. Agility, I'm not worried about it. As long as I can do more than half the HP. And I don't. Okay, so that's not good. She uses Charge, which raises the special defense. Which means Cerberus is going to be a little bit weaker. But I should still be able to pull this off. So let's swap out to Earth Power. And they use a full restore. So this is going to take a lot longer. Rain Dance, not quite sure why you're using Rain Dance since I'm not using any fire moves, but okay. I mean, I guess maybe the Thunder for better accuracy, but I don't know. I'm just going to swap back to Bowser here since he's immune to electric moves. Use one Earthquake and finish the job. I also don't have to worry about the special defense stat since Earthquake is a physical move. And there we go, one Earthquake. And that is one Elite Four member down. Next, I believe, is Broom. And he actually has ice Pokemon, ironically, so he's got a Porygon Reggie-Ice fusion, and I of course start off with Bowser again. And let's go ahead and start off with Lava Plume. That should do some damage. Tri Attack, let's see, what does that do? It does quite a bit amount of damage, and Lava Plume didn't do anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap out here. Let's go with Guru. Should resist normal. Should also resist ice, I believe. Leftover heals up a little bit. Let's go ahead and use Meteor Mash. Lock on. What are you using with Lock on here? That scares me. Okay, it doesn't matter because one Meteor Mash and I get the KO. And I get the attack boost. So let's go ahead and keep Guru out here since he got that attack boost. Okay, this should be an easy one-hit KO as well. One more Meteor Mash. Earthquake! Yeah, that's gonna do a lot. Gets me in the yellow. Get that one hit KO. And now let's go ahead and get Goro out of here, since he's getting a little low on health. And let's use Cerberus. I'm actually going to use Dragon Pulse here to get some chip damage and finish it off with Flamethrower, because I don't think Flamethrower is strong enough to get the KO in one move. Psychic did a lot, but that's fine. That's why I did Dragon Pulse. I was hoping they wouldn't full restore. And Flamethrower gets it in the red. It uses another full restore. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off with Dark Pulse to save as many flamethrowers as possible. But since Cerberus is low, I'm gonna go ahead and swap out to JC instead. Let's go ahead and get this Flame Wheel. Almost get the one hit KO, but not quite. Psychic did a lot of damage, but JC is faster, so another Flame Wheel will seal the deal. And now Bruno is on his final Pokemon here. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap out again and bring back Bowser. Since he has more than half health anyways, I'm not too worried about it. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna switch out to Goro, because Goro has a better resistance against the ice. So I don't think I need to heal, but just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and use my one heal per battle here. And Freeze Dry doesn't do much here. I heal again with the leftover, and let's go ahead and use Meteor Mash. Freeze Dry again doesn't do anything here. Past halfway, so one more Meteor Mash should seal the deal. Let's see here. Just keep using that Freeze Dry. It's not going to really do anything. Yep, and there it is. Picked up the KO. So that's 2 Elite Four members down. 2 more to go. We got Agatha here. And I'm going to keep with Bowser as my lead. And I think Earthquake should be good here because of Blaziken's fusion. Let's see here. Do I pick up the KO or not? I wonder why it's a Dino. Like the first evolution, not the second one. So she heals up. I use Earthquake again. Maybe I can get her to use up all of her full restores. That's 2. Another Earthquake. Will she heal again? She doesn't. She uses Outrage. Okay. That did a lot of damage. But one more Earthquake and I pick up the KO. And since he's below health, I'm going to go ahead and swap out to Agatha here. It only makes sense, you know. Agatha versus Agatha. Let's start off with some Calm Mind to boost up the special attack and special defense. And then maybe sweep with Moonblast. Okay, that crunch did a lot of damage, so let's just go ahead and use Moonblast now. And maybe I use Moonblast again and just have the Shell Bell heal me, and then I can use Calm Mind. Moonblast picks up the KO here. I might not need to Calm Mind. I could just get the knockouts all with Agatha here. I don't know what kind of fusion. Oh, that's a Hitmonlee, I think. And I don't know what the other fusion is, but doesn't matter. One Moonblast and it's out of here. And look at that. It's like he never hit me. Agatha's at full health. Of course, I'm going to keep her in. And a Bulbasaur fusion? What's up with the first evolution fusions? I don't know. But I get that knockout, and there it is. Agatha has been defeated. So here we go. We got Lance here as a final Elite Four member. And he has rock Pokemon. So Bowser should be good here. I just use Surf. Get the one hit KO. It's too easy, man. This is too easy. Let's use Surf again here. Energy Ball. Ooh, that's gonna... Oh my goodness. Bowser lived with 8 HP. Gets the knockout. Let's get Bowser out of here. Let's not risk having any deaths. Cerberus, come on out here, man. You got this. We're gonna go ahead and use Earth Power here. Should be good. I know this is a water Pokemon as well, but it gets him in the red, so it doesn't get the KO, but does get him in the red. Brian, not worried about it. Full restore. Okay, so that's one. Let's see if I can bait out all the full restores here. I don't think I can pick up the KO here until he's completely out of full restores. Almost got it there. Looks like he got down to 1 HP. So I'm gonna finish it up with Dragon Pulse. And let's go ahead and swap out again into Goru here. Let's give Goru some action. We got Dynamic Punch. Get that confusion going. And one more Dynamic Punch should get the KO here. There it is. Get that knockout. And now Lance is on his final Pokemon. Let's see here. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Leftovers just healing Goru back to full health. Let's go Meteor Mash here. Or Stone Edge? Yeah, Stone Edge. I think it could be flying. I don't know what this thing is. I know it's rock something. It's either dragon or flying. And it doesn't matter because Whirlwind will bring out Agatha. Goru did get him in the red though, so one Moonblast should pick up the KO. And there it is. All Elite Four members gone. Let's go. Yes, easy, man. I was worried about this. I was like, oh my goodness. If I get one or multiple Pokemon knocked out per Elite Four member, it's going to make it so much more difficult. Especially because I don't know what type the other Elite Four members are going to be using. The only Pokemon I know is Big Head having the Swampert Lantern fusion. That's it. Speaking of which, we're going against Big Head next. And of course, I start off with Bowser. And we both have our Blastoise fusions in. So let's see here. Who's better? His Blastoise fusion or my Blastoise fusion? Simple Beam. Okay, so he's actually going to change my ability, but I don't really think that does too much. So I used Lava Plume, didn't do much here. I was seeing if it was bug or not. I'm gonna go with Earthquake here. It still doesn't do that much damage, so I'm actually gonna swap out into Goru. He uses a full restore. Not sure why. You had a free hit there. X Scissor gets off on Goru, doesn't do anything. So Meteor Mash here. I'm hoping to get the attack boost because this thing seems to be very, very tanky. Don't get it though. Another full restore, bro. You don't need to keep. You're not even half. I still don't get the attack boost with Meteor Mash, so that's unfortunate. I'm gonna use Dynamic Punch instead to get the confusion and hope that he can just continue to hurt himself because even that doesn't do a lot of damage. Let's see here. Let's go back to Meteor Mash to get the attack boost. He's at halfway. Do I get the attack boost? I do not get the attack boost. Okay, well, let's go back to Dynamic Punch. He uses a full restore. Okay, this is perfect. So he restored his confusion, but Dynamic Punch puts it back. Let's go back to Meteor Mash. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a long fight. Come on, give me the attack boost. Give me the attack boost. There it is. There's the attack boost. Nice. Now let's use Dynamic Punch. Hopefully this can... Okay, another full restore. Okay, well, you're confused again, at least. Let's go back to Meteor Mash, because I'm still too weak. This will get him into the red, maybe? No, into the yellow. Maybe Dynamic Punch finishes it off. Oh, he hurt himself. Okay, so yes, Dynamic Punch does finish off his Blastoise fusion. So that's one Pokemon down. That was a lot to get one Pokemon down. That thing was bulky. And okay, so we have a Porygon, Reggie Ice Fusion here. Zap Cannon does paralyze me. That's not good, but I get the Dynamic Punch off and the KO. That's big. Okay. I'm going to trust that Goru will survive a hit. So I'm going to keep him in and hopefully cause confusion with Dynamic Punch. As long as it's not a crit, I'm good. Earthquake does get me in the red. I do get the Dynamic Punch off. That's perfect. So I get the confusion off. He doesn't have any more full restores. Now let's go ahead and get Goru out of here. And let's bring out Agatha. Confused and hurt yourself, buddy. Okay, but then he healed, so it kind of cancels itself out. Let's just use Energy Ball and get this thing out the way. Okay, so he swaps out, which means Energy Ball isn't going to do much here. It's either Poison Grass or Grass. So let's Moonblast instead. Doesn't get the KO, but does get it in the red. It's going to Giga Drain to heal. So let's just knock this thing out with another Moonblast here. Still have 0 knockouts on my side. Goru got close, but he lived. Bowser also got close. But so far, everyone's still alive and kicking. So, okay, so we have our Gardevoir fusions out here. Who's better? I'm not even going to test it out because I have PTSD from Steel type Pokemon. I don't know if this thing is Steel or Ground. So let's get Agatha out of here. Bring JC in here. Let's see if Flame Wheel does something. It does not, so it's Ground. It's not Steel, it's Ground Fairy. So let's get JC out of here and bring out Gaia here. Heavy Slam doesn't do anything. Not worried about that. And let's curse. I'm just gonna curse over and over until I get +6. So hang on just a second. Let's just stack up our stats real quick. And he might even end up knocking himself out here. Might not have to worry about it. Okay, so that's 6 power-ups, and Rocky Helmet almost cleaned it out anyways. Almost didn't even have to use a move. Use Power Whip, I miss. Use Power Whip again and get the knockout here. So I believe Big Head is on his final Pokemon here. Oh, he's got 2 more. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's right, because he swapped it out. So 1 Power Whip here, takedown, not worried about that, and you hurt yourself. You big goofball. So 1 Power Whip here, and I get the knockout. So who is the final Pokemon you got, Big Head? Who is it? Who you got? Let me see it. I don't know what this thing is, but I think it's Psychic. So Assurance. Relic Song does absolutely nothing. Not worried about it one bit. Past halfway, so 1 more Assurance, and that'll be it. And I will be the champion. That's it. I've beaten Pokemon Infinite Fusion Minilocke with my 6 favorite fused Pokemon. Maybe not top 6, but these are all my favorite in some sort. Gengar, awesome. Gardevoir, great fairy Pokemon. We got Infernape and Sceptile here fused. Ferrothorn and Bisharp, love Bisharp. He has a lot of weaknesses, but fusing it with Ferrothorn was just perfect. Again, giving it the Rocky Helmet with the ability of Bisharp boosting up his attack when other stats were lowered. Machamp and Metagross here, come on now. Charizard and Hydreigon being my favorite 2 Pokemon fused, and just a beautiful sprite there. And then we have Blastoise and Groudon making Bowser here. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Hit the like button if you want to see more, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.